Hello there, everybody! I'm Mr. Game Pie, and welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man 4. Today we're taking on Dive Man. He's based on a submarine. So hey, it's the big old water level of this game. And it's actually a pretty cool level, honestly. It's not like super annoying or ridiculous as most water levels tend to be in this series. Indeed, your ability to jump super high while underwater is actually made use for, like, positive means. You're not restricted by a bunch of death spikes on the ceiling or anything like that throughout the level. And we also have some pretty cool meds here. They have scuba gear, and we have a mini-boss. Let's try out our new weapon, the Drill Bomb. It's a bomb, which is also a drill. Its thing is that it's quite powerful. And indeed, it took out the whale boss relatively quickly. Let's just keep using it, because... oh my goodness, an extra life. So yeah, there's these little green things right here. They can't be killed as far as I'm aware. I've never found a way to kill them. Alright, so here we have Eddie. He's new to this game. And sometimes he'll teleport into a level and give you a random item. Sometimes it'll be really good, sometimes it won't be that. Honestly, my luck is pretty good, so as such, Yeti tends to give me good things. Alright, so here we have these little manta ray enemies. They tend to be quite annoying, they're fairly small, they take like 3 hits to beat. But with the drill bomb, it's a large projectile that you can detonate mid-air. As such, and it's very powerful, so it beats them in 1 hit. As such, it doesn't take too long to beat them. And here we have Flash Stopper defeating another mini-boss without any trouble whatsoever. That's the thing, Flash Stopper tends to be my mini-boss killer, as all of the mini-bosses in this game are affected by it. We also have a secret spike drop here. Why is there just suddenly an endless pit whenever previously the only thing that would kill you were spikes in this level? Well, because we have an item down here. It's the wire! Not to be confused with the show of the same name. And the wire isn't useful in this level at all. You can latch onto a ceiling with it. But this level doesn't really have any ceilings of note. So let's just use the Rain Flush. Because that's useful underwater. But yeah, the rain does last for a little while, so if an enemy spawns while the rain is active, it can defeat the enemy. Also, the whale sucking in the water there, that's not just for show. It's legitimately creating a current. Wow, yeah, the Rain Flush did, like, no damage to that guy. Sometimes the Rain Flush will actually do considerable damage to mini-bosses. Other times, it doesn't do that. It's a little bit inconsistent. Oh, I still missed. So yeah, here's some of the only death spikes in this level. What? How did that explosion not hit him? Alright, we're back over here again. We're not gonna let that manta ray respawn. But hey, yeah, we have some bombs here. They explode if you get too close to them. And they can't really be destroyed, so just try to avoid them as best as possible. Alright, now Dive Man himself. Once again, he's one of the harder bosses in this set. Honestly, I think that he's the last especially difficult boss in the group. But one thing to remember is that despite being a submarine in the water, he doesn't really go up at all. He certainly goes side to side quite fast, but he never moves vertically. But his dive missile is very dangerous, as it's a homing missile, which can, it can home in on you. If you're just standing straight in front of him, it's not that dangerous, because it just goes straight forward. But if you happen to be in the air whenever he fires it, it will go into the air to follow you, and then it tends to circle around you in an erratic pattern. As such, it can be very difficult to handle if you're, well, not on the ground all the time. Dive Man stays on the ground, you want to stay on the ground. Of course, Dive Man's other attack is launching himself into you. Much like several other bosses, he weaponizes his massive collision damage. Alright, so now that Dive Man is taken care of, let's handle Skull Man. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm going in reverse weakness order. So, like, that's why I haven't had the weaknesses for any of the bosses yet. I'm going the opposite order of them. But yeah, Skull Man, oh boy. Many people consider Skull Man to be the, oh man, guess what? It was actually Dr. Wily and Dr. Cossack is innocent notification boss. But that, whatever Mega Man 4, that wasn't really the case. Because it wasn't until this game that Wily got any sort of skull motifs. In the first 3 Mega Man games, he was more associated with aliens or space than skulls. In fact, I can't think of any sort of skull notification that existed before this game. But yeah, really, this game is the first time that you see his, Wily machine have a skull motif in it. Which kind of makes me think maybe, Skullman wasn't designed to inform that Wily was the villain, but Wily got his skull motif because of Skullman. Wily has shown, to get obsessed with certain robot masters before, particularly Gutsman. And maybe Skullman is the latest of his obsessions, which just sort of lasted throughout the rest of the series as it became his regular emblem. Skullman is an interesting one himself, as he was designed specifically for combat, made to have a solid combination of offense and defense. Also, the Rain Flush destroys this area. Normally you can't attack shield attackers from the front, but Rain Flush attacks everywhere. So it just sort of makes short work of all these guys. No problem at all. Indeed, a lot of enemies in Skullman stage tend to have a lot of defensive relations. Oh, okay. But I guess these guys are just too durable to defeat like that. Alright, there we go. This level also tends to have a lot of E-tanks and extra lives. Due to the fact that you can re-enter levels at will, it can often be a good place to restock on supplies before going to a level that's rather difficult, or the endgame. Alright, so here comes a pretty cool section. I'm gonna turn on the flash stopper for this. Normally, there's a variety of enemies right here. Yeah, these guys. They're a Sniper Joe type of enemy, and normally your regular shots can't actually hurt them. They'll just collapse for a bit and then rebuild themselves right again. Much like a Dry Bones of the Mario series. However, if you use a charge shot, it will defeat them immediately, and if you use the flash stopper, they won't fall to pieces and instead will just die to 3 hits, like most things. Alright, time for Skullman himself, and he's a very interesting robot master. He was made for combat, and boy oh boy does he sure put up a good fight. So as you can see, starting off, he's not doing anything. That's because Skullman's AI is entirely based on what you do. He has 2 different tactics, one if you move and one if you shoot. So if we move, he'll start shooting at us. And if we shoot, he'll move at us. Alright, I've been having a little bit of trouble jumping over all of his projectiles as of late. But yeah, he can aim his projectiles in various ways. But yeah, whenever he puts down his shield, you want to jump over him and get to the other side of the room as fast as possible. Unless he has like 3 health bars left, then just use a charge shot and it's no problem. But yeah, Skullman, he's a little bit complex, but not that difficult once you know how to handle him. Which, I suppose that applies to most robot masters, honestly. And we get the Skull Barrier. It's the shield weapon of the game, and honestly, it's one of the worst shields in the series. It doesn't really have any special effects, it can only take 1 hit before it goes down, and it uses a sizable chunk of its ammo bar every use. Not one that I regularly use. But here we have Dustman. Dustman's made for cleaning. Who would have guessed? Dustman's music, notably, is rather sad in comparison to, you know, the normal soundtracks we hear in this game. Oh, right, yeah, the drill bomb doesn't shoot through walls. And hey, check it out, it's a guy! We can try using the skull barrier against them, just because, you know, I don't normally use it, so may as well give it some use in here. Normally these enemies try to, you know, knock you down the pits. But with the skull barrier, they can't do that. Woohoo! Here's the health capsule. Ooh, I actually made it that time. Nice. I don't typically make that jump. And we're getting to kind of a dangerous portion. So, there's these blocks. They come up from the bottom, and then they, you know, construct into a single large block. But I've been having problems. Oh, there we go, it disappeared. That block just disappeared on us. And it just, oh my gosh, that one disappeared too. These blocks, they keep disappearing after a little while. And that's problematic. Oh, okay, that's okay. Oh, just barely made that one. Yeah, sometimes they just randomly disappear for no discernible reason, and that's really bad, especially if you're in the middle of jumping towards one. Okay, but we made it through there without too much hassle. I mean, there was definitely a hassle, but it's not completely ridiculous. Alright, Eddie, give me whatever. That is a good whatever. Nice. Alright, now here's the section that many people remember this stage for. The Crusher section. We have to destroy all these trash blocks to easily get through here without being crushed. Like a piece of trash. Mega Man's no trash, he's a treasure. Yeah, you know, I'd show off various special weapons and how they can be used here, but honestly, the only special weapon that we have in our arsenal that can destroy these blocks is the dive missile, and we don't particularly need a homing shot right now. We're fine without that. Ooh, health, I'll take that. Oh, better go back. Ooh, more ammo, I'll take that too. This Met is just being incredibly generous today. Though it's not especially helping us defeat all these blocks that we need to get through. There we go. Getting through here without taking any damage at all is not particularly feasible. I mean, sure, it's possible, but, like, it's gonna be ridiculous if you're trying to do that. Alright, so there's this Met. This Met's kind of a jerk. So, what I'm gonna do... You know, that's not gonna work. Come on, Met, get out of your helmet. There we go. Unlike most Mets, which only take one hit, he takes 3, and he'll spin while he shoots 3 shots straight forward. A dangerous one, that is. Alright. So, time for Dustman. Once again, just gonna use the Buster against this guy. A lot of people play the Mega Man games where they'll not use a single special weapon for the duration of a stage, and then they'll just use the boss's weakness against them. I suppose in that regard, I'm playing the opposite of that. I'm using special weapons all over the place during the stages, and not using them against the bosses because I'm going in reverse weakness order. So Dustman here, he has 2 main moves. He can try to inhale you, much like Kirby, but less awesome, and he can shoot the Dust Crusher at you. The Dust Crusher is fairly simple to avoid, you just jump over it whenever it gets near you. And his inhaling isn't really dangerous at all. He just pulls you toward him, and it's... yeah, you can't really do much about that. Woohoo. Oh, he's got 1 hit left. Oh, of course he starts inhaling then. But yeah, nothing can hurt him while he's inhaling, not even his weakness. Not that it matters all that much, since he isn't exactly dangerous during that period of time. he can still hop around, and much like any of the bosses in this game, he does do a ridiculous amount of collision damage. But as a whole, Dustman isn't really that dangerous. Like dust in the wind. And we actually get one of the better weapons in this game, the Dust Crusher. But we'll show that off next time. So until then, I'm Mr. GamePie. See you later!